So we've got two specimens here. One's dissected, one is not. So from the outside point of view, this is the testicle here, and it is not surrounded, but around it to a certain degree. This comma-shaped structure is the epididymis. So testicle is here, the comma-shaped structure is the epididymis. This is the head of the epididymis on the top. So this is the top of the testy. It would hang like that in the scrotum. So that's the head of the epididymis. The body runs down along the back side. This is the back of the testicle. And then that is the tail down at the bottom. So head, body, and tail of the epididymis. This structure here that's been cut, that I was pinching earlier, is the spermatocord. That's what the testicle hangs from the pelvic area of the male down into the scrotum. So this nub here, this muscular nub, is the spermatocord. The muscle in it, there's a number of things in it, the blood vessels, the nerves, everything that the testicle needs runs through the spermatocord. But there is a muscle in there you need to know the name of. You can kind of see it, it's dark, it's pretty muscular feeling. That is the cremaster muscle. It raises and lowers the testicles in response to temperature. If it's too chilly out or you jump into cold water, pulls the testicle up to keep it warm near the body. If it's too hot in hot tub or hot area, it relaxes and allows the testicle to get away from the body. See, testicles work best at about 96 degrees. It's a little cooler than body temperature, and believe it or not, a couple of degrees matters. Oftentimes the problem with male reproduction is that, if there is a problem, is that the testicles are too warm from tidy whities or bathtubs or hot tubs. Stuff like this keeps the testicles too warm, and then don't produce enough sperm or much less sperm. So the cremaster muscle is in the spermatocord. So read the card, read the question, so you know what's being asked of you. The structure here is the spermatocord. The muscle on the inside of it is the cremaster muscle. And this dangly thing that I did dissect a little bit is the vas deferens. This is the beginning of the vas deferens. It comes off the tail of the epididymis. So as the sperm are produced in the testicle, they leave the testicle and go into the head of the epididymis. Then they get pushed along, moved along as more sperm coming. So the oldest sperm are down here. The youngest, freshest sperm are up here. So, and they're stored there till ejaculation. Then at ejaculation, starting at the oldest sperm, they are propelled up through this tubule here, which is the vas deferens, the beginning of the vas deferens. And it typically, I've teased it away from the testicle itself. It typically kind of adheres to the back of the testy, and then that vas deferens will also become part of the spermatocord. It'll go into the spermatocord, and that's how the sperm will get out of the scrotum up into the man's body cavity to be ejaculated out the urethra. Okay, so testicle, head, body, tail of the epididymis, the spermatocord containing the cremaster muscle, and the vas deferens. This outer membrane here at the testy, the outer membrane that you're seeing, that I'm touching with the probe, is the tunica albuginea. You can see in section here, I've cut, it's rather thick and hardy, durable. So that's tunica albuginea being teased away from the rest of the testy. The rest of the testy, deep under it, is this spongy peach-colored tissue, which is the seminiferous tubules. If you remember the slide, all the circles, the seminiferous tubules, that's what this is. So they're very fine tubules, of course, microscopic. You can't really see tubules here. If you squish it, it feels squishy. If you feel it, it feels kind of squishy. Then the reedy testy, I'm not sure if that's on the list, reedy testy. Okay, you do have to add it, then it's the white area in the middle. That's where, so the sperm are made in the seminiferous tubules, as we've already discussed. Then they go towards the reedy testy, which is this white area. And from the reedy testy, they leave the testicle. And you can see here, this is the head of the epididymis. See? Head of the epididymis up here. So this is where the sperm leave the testy. They all go towards the middle, towards the reedy testy. Then from the reedy testy, they go up and go into the epididymis. And then the head of the epididymis, they get pushed and pushed as more sperm keep coming, they get pushed down the epididymis until ejaculation. the man doesn't ejaculate, masturbate, or unload the sperm, then the whole system kind of slows down. And that's what happens in other animals when their mating season's over, they can't mate anymore, everything kind of backs up, and the system shuts down until next mating season, whenever that would be. Let me see the sheet, I'm not sure if we covered everything. So bull testicle, tunica albuginea, that outer membrane, then the 3 areas of the epididymis, the vas deferens coming off of the tail of the epididymis. This one wasn't so good. The epididymis is just kind of choppy. There's the tail. You can't really see the head too well. Maybe a little bit over here. Anyway, it's not quite as good, but this is the vas deferens. Now, at the beginning, in our other specimen, we saw the end of the vas deferens. So the vas deferens comes up out of the scrotum, up into the man's pelvis. If you remember, it goes around the back of the bladder, back down around the bladder, and then it pokes into the back of the prostate. Remember we saw those 2 look like bunny ear things poking up on that other specimen. That was the other end of the vas deferens. Here's the beginning. We saw the end. It's rather lengthy, kind of lengthy. There's a lot of middle parts as it goes up and around the pelvis and around, not the pelvis, but the pubic symphysis and up and around the back of the bladder. So that's all vas deferens, getting that sperm up to the back of the prostate, where the seminal vesicles were. Remember the wrinkly gland in the back of the prostate. Cremaster muscle, spermatocord, and seminiferous tubules. So there's the spermatocord with the cremaster muscle. Seminiferous tubules are inside, all that spongy peach stuff, not to be confused with our add-on, the add-on of the reedy testes, that whitish area. Very clearly, if it was just subtle or couldn't see it, I wouldn't add it on, but it's very clear there, and it's something you should know. It's in the notes, it's on the models, and now we see that. Anything you'd like to see again? Moving along, we've got one more specimen.